Today we celebrate the memorial of St.Benedict. We call the father of Monasticism, founder of his own order. One of four who wrote original rules, upon which the rules for most of all the other congregations and orders are based. We Franciscans are one of those other original, or which orders with its own original order and rule. But in any case, today we reflect on St. Benedict, who, born in Norcia in Italy, worked in Rome, in the city of Rome, and seeing the dangers and temptations of being in the city, decided to leave all of that and give himself more closely to God. And he retired to a mountain to the northeast of Rome. It's just about an hour's drive, called Subiaco, where he could be isolated. And there he founded the first community and wrote his rule, whereby the monks, as they were called, this is where they got the name monks. It comes from the Greek word mono, which means one. Because they would live as one. Now there were already communities existing already, those were they were called anchorites and hermits, who would live in small little groups in their own, each one in his own little hut, as it were. And each one lived what we call the eremitic life, alone. They would come together at times, but they did not live exactly together. They stayed in their own little huts. Here, they would live as one. And the motto that St. Benedict chose for them was, ora e labora. Pray. That would come first. Pray and work. They would pray together. They would work together. They would recreate together. They would live together. Yet live a life given completely to growing in the love of God, what we call contemplation, the contemplative life. Now, we'll often hear, I recall hearing it while I was studying in college. One of my own classmates once said, well, hey, no, I don't want them to go out there and pray for me. I don't think it's right that they should be hidden away somewhere as if they were lazy, which is not what it is at all. But why would we not want them to pray for us? There's where we get the grace to be able to carry on. But in any case, it's not as if they're just sitting back and they're lazy. It's not like that. Otherwise you would only have half the motto there, ora et labora, it's labora, they have to work too, and they do. And I recall also while I was in formation in Italy, while I was studying for the priesthood at that point, I was at the Angelicum in Rome, and one of our classmates, who was a Benedictine, once pointed out what the difference is between, say, a community like us Franciscans and the Benedictines, those who are contemplative and live in their monastery, they don't come out. You go out to your apostles, he told us. Now think about it, because it's quite true. We can go out. We can reach out. He says, we Benedictines, we too have our apostolates. But the people come to us. That's the difference. We stay where we are and the people come. As you know, the Benedictines are one of the first to be responsible for education. And in fact, St. Benedict, after he got the community going in Subiaco, moved down to central Italy in a place called Cassino. And up on the mountain there, founded another monastery, Monte Cassino, which you've probably heard much about. That's a well-known one. And there, that became one of the larger communities. At one time they had over 200 monks, and became a center of education. At least one of the great doctors of the church was educated there, began his education there, St. Thomas Aquinas. From the time he was about 5 years old until he began the study of theology, actually. I think he began his philosophy at Cassino as well, Monte Cassino as well. But anyways, in any case, it became a center of education. And the monks became responsible largely for the whole educational system in Europe at that time. But the point here is, while it is a life lived in contemplation, isolated as it were, a life to give oneself completely to God, in the silence, in a hidden way, yet it is a life of feverish activity. Lots of activity as well. There is prayer, there's much work, there is work, much work as well. And hence that motto, ora et laborans. Prayer and work. Because it's the prayer that supports the work. And without the prayer, the work is nothing. You see, they go together. We must pray, and it really, when you stop to think about it, that's the Christian life. We must pray, and we must work. We have to work out our salvation above all, but we must share what we get, the graces we receive, the lights we receive. It's not something we can keep to ourselves any more than God kept his love to himself, which he could very well have done, but he didn't at all. See, that's really not the nature of love. It grows, and it grows till it has to be shared. And that's exactly what God did. How? By creating every one of us to share it with us. How do we do that? We revert back to the motto, ora et laborans. Prayer, pray and work. We have to pray to receive it. We receive it. It grows. We let it grow within us. We nurture it. We must share it. Each in our own way, and we're all called to do it in different ways. But we must share it. And even if it's too simple, even if we were to sit and pray, we're sharing it, you see? I don't think any of us does. We all have our work to do. Some of us have much work to do, many things to do. Based on the talents we have, God has given us much work to use them. And we must do that. But it starts with that prayer, or what some will call contemplation in action. We must be always contemplating. Our minds and hearts raised to God always. And we should be doing that continually throughout every day. But that moment to come together or aside in times of prayer also each day, and we should every day, will also help us to nurture that sense of contemplation. You see? And help us to grow in that love for God. And nurture that love, so that we can then go out and share it. Let us then pray for the intercession of St. Benedict and all of the saints, that we can grow in that love for God, nurture it with our deep prayer every day and contemplation, and then go out and share it. Praise be Jesus and Mary.